I'm following a few people online who are in the middle of their weight loss fitness journeys, starting out not in great places, let themselves go a little bit too far, but they started. And they're now to the point that as they're doing like weekly posts, they're sharing their weight, and it's just kind of ticking off. And they've got a long way to go, but it's ticking off, and you can see that they don't hate it anymore. You know what I mean? Like they're
Yeah.
building those habits. Going to the gym sucked the first time, maybe for the first week or the first month or whatever, but now it's kind of fun and enjoyable, and they like it, and they like the process and seeing the results. And so for somebody who thinks that they're too old, they've aged out, it's too far gone, they're too big, what advice would you have for that person who might be listening thinking like this all sounds well and good, but there's really not much hope for me, I've already made it to that stage?
Okay. Well, if you really, really think that, then you're right. I mean, I'm sorry, but yes, if you don't believe that you can change, then I can't change your mind. If you
Okay.
really believe that, but you're actually listening to this podcast and still listening because we've been talking for a little while. But if you truly believe that, then you're right. But I don't believe that you believe that. The reality is that the human body is the most amazing thing ever. The more I learn about it, the more amazing it is. Imagine a machine that can not only heal itself, but make itself better. If you give it the effort and the time and the nutrition it needs, it will get better every time. It can heal itself, it can get stronger. You can get more mobile, you can build stamina. You literally can continue to improve yourself every waking day of your life. You just have to do the right things, and not all of them, just a couple of them. Eat a little better, move a little bit better, sleep well, manage your stress, and be nicer to yourself.
Mm. Man, that's a great answer. On that note, you probably just answered the question, but I wanted to ask you a question you often ask your guests. If you had three things, if you had three simple things that you would want somebody to do, somebody who's in their 40s or beyond, that want to start this journey, that dream, have that vision that you were talking about of playing with their kids on the ground, getting up, not getting into the same situation that your grandfather got into. What are three of the most simple things you think people should focus on?
Okay. I think the first one is to get to your why. Really sit down and think through why do I want to be better? Now, it's almost always going to be your significant other, your kids, maybe grandkids. It's going to be somebody in your life that you love, somebody that you want to be around for, somebody you want to help, someone that you don't want to have to be taking care of you. So get deep and personal on your why. That's the first one, because this will be a bedrock foundation for you to be successful long term. If you just do it and saying, well, the doctor said I need to lose a little bit of weight, so I need to lose 20 pounds. So what? So what? You know, if it's, oh, my blood pressure's a little high and he's going to start putting me on medications. And that's exactly the path that my uncle took. And then he lost his foot at 65 because of diabetes. I don't want to be like him. Then that's a little bit more compelling and deep. So it doesn't have to be a person, but it needs to be a big why. Why is this important? Really important. 20 pounds is not important, but there are other things that 20 pounds represents that could be. So find your deep why. Okay. The second one is eat real food. Okay. If it comes in a bag, box, jar, or can, be suspect. Okay. Because most things that come in that form are not food. They're food like stuff. There's calories. There might even be a few vitamins and minerals, but mostly the chemical versions of them. So if it walked this earth, swam in the water, or lived, and it's as close to being that thing as it could be. So a piece of meat, a piece of fish, vegetable, then that's something you should be eating more of. It's really hard to overeat that. But if it comes in a wrapper, a box, a can, a jar, it's probably got other stuff in it you don't need to be eating. So the less of that you eat, the better. So just eat more real food. And then the final bit of this is really about thinking about movement again from a fitness or task type of thing. When we get older, the likelihood of falling is higher. So you can say, I don't want to get on the floor, but sometimes that might not be within your choice. You might end up on the floor whether you wanted to be or not. So be thinking about bone density and muscle dense strength and how that's going to be protective, about mobility and balance and how getting back up and not falling in the first place could be more valuable. Think about who you want to be. Again, we're looking at our who. Well, what does that look like physically? What am I able to do? So my wife and I run a bed and breakfast down here in Panama, and they deliver water in these 5 gallon bottles, like the water cooler bottles that you have at work. Well, those weigh 44 pounds. And so they'll bring them to the door. Sometimes we have as many as 10 of them. And they got to go to the back of the house, which is 40 feet, and then some of them upstairs. So I'm just grabbing these bottles and carrying. If they have handles, I'm doing them 2 at a time, farmers carry. Not many other 58-year-olds are thinking about walking around how they're going to be able to do farmer carries for, that far with 45, 44 pound, 45 pound, dumbbells. I do because I do it all the time. So fit for task, just do the movement that's going to help you be fit for what you need to do when you need to do it. And so don't think of it as working out, just think of it as training. So the 3 is: 1, get to your why. 2 is eat real food. And 3 is train to be the human being you're supposed to be.